friends. Hello, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello and welcome. Welcome. Today's video, I've actually already filmed this video once, and this is technically a refilm of this video. The biggest reason for that was, and this has happened to me a couple times in my YouTube career, I'm not gonna lie, I feel very passionately about certain topics, and today's video topic is definitely one that I feel very passionately about and very strongly about. So sometimes it's good to just like film everything first, unfiltered version, and then go back through and really try and not be as intense. But I'm gonna give a fair warning that this video probably will be a little bit more intense than a lot of my other ones and probably a little bit more ranty, simply because I'm pissed. So there's not much I can do about that. So just forewarning, I did already get a lot of my feelings out in a not so productive way, and now we are gonna try to do it productively. If it slips, I apologize. I honestly can't really believe that I have to discuss what we are going to be discussing in today's video, and that is the LaBrant family's newest documentary that they posted on their YouTube channel. I say documentary in air quotes because it's actually anti-choice propaganda. And that's the nicest way to put it. Like, it's anti-choice propaganda that's filled with falsehoods, misinformation, and actively spreading very harmful and disgusting companies that sole purpose is to try to control women's bodies. So let's talk about that. I'm really disgusted by the actions that happened in this, I guess we'll call it like a mockumentary. I'm disgusted by the actions and things that were said in this video, and I do want to break all of that down. But first, I really wanted to go deep into who the LaBrant family actually is. I've been wanting to make a video on them for a very long time anyway, just because what they do on their YouTube channel is pretty messed up, and this is not the first, nor will it likely be the last time they've done something incredibly exploitative and gross like what they did in this video. Before we jump into what was said in this propaganda piece, we are gonna just quickly break down who the LaBrant family is and some things that have gotten them into hot water in the past. Quick disclaimer for those of you that don't know, I hate family channels on principle. I hate the concept of family channels. I hate the idea that people use and exploit their children just for the sake of getting money and views. I hate the fact that children on family channels have zero rights to any of the money made. They have no working hours that need to be abided by. They have nobody advocating for them that doesn't have a vested interest in profiting off of them. And I think in general, family channels are disgusting. I already dislike the LaBrant family even going into this just off of that principle. But what I learned after digging deeper into them has made me not only dislike them in terms of I very much disagree with their ethics around parenting. It's also made me very concerned and scared that they have a massive audience of over 13 million people that are mostly young people that they are pushing a lot of this stuff onto. So the LaBrant family channel actually started back in 2016 and was originally Cole LaBrant's YouTube channel. He is the father of the family. Cole was actually huge on Vine in 2013. He had an account with a group of his friends called Dem White Boys. It was just mostly him and his two friends doing what we know today as thirst traps. It was just them dancing with their shirts off and doing really Vine style skits, but they got very popular doing this content. Cole's channel really skyrocketed in 2016 after the death of Vine, which I think a lot of people that happened for, like big YouTubers today, a lot of them did start on Vine. So this wasn't that weird, but I think the weird thing about Cole's channel is that the biggest sort of draw he had to his channel was his then girlfriend at the time, Savannah, and her young daughter, Everly. I think what's really abundantly clear right off the bat when looking at their older content is mostly how heavily they used Everly for views. If you look at his older content and you see just Savannah and Cole in the thumbnail, the views on a video like that versus views on videos that have Everly in the thumbnail, it's pretty apparent that the then 3-year-old was really pulling in all of the views for them. Now, while they do talk about this pretty openly on their channel, it seems to be a misunderstanding because Cole and Everly do look very similar, but Cole is not Everly's biological father. Savannah had Everly when she was 19. She's talked very openly about the fact that it was an unplanned pregnancy. However, based on their earlier videos, it was very obvious that Cole was definitely trying to fill that more paternal role for her. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Everly actually was a super cute kid. She still is. Like, she was very energetic. She was very outgoing. She loved to dance. And they used her in a lot of videos. And as their channel started to grow in both subscribers and views, so did their relationship. And they vlogged every single step of the way, including their proposal video, which of course included Everly in the title and thumbnail, that got 27 million views on YouTube. But don't worry, they weren't just exploiting Everly. They were also exploiting Savannah's nieces and nephews, constantly having babies that were not their own in titles and thumbnails and videos, and using these children as props essentially for their video concept. And I feel like people, you hear like, oh, they used, you know, Everly for a lot of content. I feel like people don't fully get how heavily they used this at the time 3 to 4 year old girl. They took her out on a double date with a young Cole. So she was technically dating the person who was supposed to be her father at a young age. They took them to like Johnny Rockets and filmed the whole date for a Valentine's Day episode, which is just so fucking weird considering they were both 4 years old. They filmed her crying after dental surgery. They filmed her doctor's appointments. They filmed her dance recitals, and they even filmed her crying and getting upset when Savannah had to go on trips without them. In May of 2018, they announced that they were going to be having their second child. And of course, this was just brand new content to freshen up and spice up the channel. They posted multiple videos with tons of clickbait titles like, "We're having twins." They were not having twins. They would clickbait that Savannah's water broke, even though she was only like 4 months along in her pregnancy. And most disgustingly, they would clickbait that things were wrong with their pregnancy. This is one of the grossest thing I think that people do. I feel as if clickbaiting that there's a complication with your pregnancy or a complication with your child, when nothing is actually medically wrong with your child, is just such a fucked up thing to do. It's literally low-key like these parents want their children to get sick just so they can clickbait the fuck out of it and make tons of money off those videos. Like, it baffles my mind how you think it's appropriate to be pregnant and about to have a baby, and you're literally clickbaiting that baby's health in utero. Like, what the fuck? I don't understand what goes through Family Channel's mind. And after this second baby was born, they yet again started clickbaiting the fuck out of this child, basically saying that she was constantly having all of these medical issues when she wasn't. And this all got even worse in 2019 when they announced that they were having yet another child, and this child actually did have some stuff going on. He had to be in the ICU for a few weeks after Savannah gave birth to him. He was suffering from jaundice. They were having a bunch of issues with him, but don't worry, they vlogged the entire thing. They vlogged them going to the ICU. They vlogged their baby being hooked up to monitors. Instead of, I don't know, just being with your fucking baby who's sick, they decided to use this and exploit this situation to get tens of millions of views on YouTube, saying that their baby was struggling and in the ICU. This is where it gets so dicey for me, because I actually do believe that vlogs about things like that actually can be really important. Like, I think that parents talking about their experience having a child in the ICU can actually make a lot of other parents feel so much less alone, because that is a really scary, terrifying experience. But the problem is that the perspective of that video has to be from the point of view of the parent, not filming your child hooked up to all of these monitors and machines and just constantly putting them on camera and exploiting them while they're 2 days out of the womb. If they gone on and just done a sit-down video talking about that experience, I think that actually would have been very powerful. But instead, they just utilized a photo of him hooked up to machines as clickbait and exploit the fact that he was going through something traumatizing. That child was in such a vulnerable position, and instead of trying to take all of the care in the world to protect him, they did nothing but exploit him. Now, just 4 months ago, they actually announced that they were having yet another child, but ever since that announcement has happened, it feels like their content has gotten even stranger. Even though their channel still gets a lot of views for what it is, they get like 1 to 2 million views a video, it's nowhere near the success they had in 2017 and 2018, and it seems as if they've actually stepped back a little bit from posting family content. Like, they've definitely been doing it a little bit less. Don't get me wrong, the stuff they are posting still incredibly messed up and clickbaity and utilizing their children for views. Cole has actually started his own channel where he posts a bunch of different videos. There's like challenges and not so much kid-focused content. And those videos get a couple 100,000 views, but they're nowhere near the success of the LaBrant fam channel. However, on their main channel, their content has been getting crazy. So actually the mockumentary that we're going to be talking about today is not the first one that they have posted. In August of 2021, they uploaded one of these documentaries titled She Got Diagnosed with Cancer. Now, okay, let me put my iPad down for a second. Let's talk about this. If you think for 1 millisecond that these people did not know that when they titled the video, She Got Diagnosed with Cancer, that millions of people would not think that one of their own children got diagnosed with cancer, I don't know what to tell you. They literally clickbaited that one of their children had cancer, and when you clicked on the video, it was just a documentary about childhood cancer. And 90% of the video was not even focused on the point of what the video was supposed to be about, which was childhood cancer. Can we just talk about the fact that they clickbaited one of their children having cancer in order to get views on a video to support childhood cancer? Can we just talk about the morals and ethics and fucking backflips you'd have to take to do something like that? Not only that though, 90% of the video is not even them talking about the issue they're claiming to be there to talk about. It's Cole opening up and talking about the fact that he had anxiety, that his daughter did have cancer. She doesn't have cancer. But he had so much anxiety about that then he started learning about cancer and childhood cancer and felt like it was something that they needed to talk about and share. Here's the thing. I am absolutely all for these big channels talking about issues like this. Like 1000%, I think what they did at the end of that video was actually really beautiful. They found some families that had been affected. They met with some people. They gave links to donate to these families. They shone a spotlight on issues that really mattered. And I think that's wonderful. Like, I will never sit here, even if it's the fucking LaBrant family, and shit on them for trying to help out these people who are going through a horrifically terrible time. What I cannot forgive, and what I think is absolutely mind-blowing, is that they would clickbait insinuating that one of their own children had cancer in order to get people to click on the video. That 90% of the video was not focused on this child who was an actual victim of the disease you're claiming to make a documentary about. 90% of it was just you talking about how you thought your kid had cancer, so you were panicking and having anxiety about it. Like, that was the point of the video. That was what you clickbaited. Nothing to do with actually helping these children you claim to be helping, who are going through one of the most horrific things you can go through. Now, on top of that, just a month ago, before they posted this other video, they made a video talking about how they were debating homeschooling or partially homeschooling their oldest daughter, Everly. And one of the reasons that Savannah in particular said that she wanted to homeschool her was because she wanted help and support with all of the children that she was having. She said because she was going to have 3 young children under the age of 3, Everly would be very helpful. Everly, by the way, is 9. Everly, a 9-year-old, is now being pulled out of school and doing partial school because Savannah would like assistance and help throughout the day with the children that she is choosing to have. As if they aren't millionaires who can't afford a fucking nanny. And also, mind you, during this whole conversation, first of all, I shouldn't even be privy to this knowledge. This is what I always say when we're talking about kid channels. I shouldn't even be aware that they're considering doing this with Everly. Like, I should not know that this is what's going on. I should not know any of this information. This is totally private and personal information that pertains to her. But while they were talking about it, Cole was literally like, well, she's very social. She's a very outgoing kid. She loves her social life. She loves being busy. And Savannah was basically like, well, I want her here more, so we think we're gonna partially homeschool her. I feel really bad for all of the children in this family, but I feel the fucking worst for Everly because she started having a camera shoved in her face at 3 years old and has basically grown up as a child actress with none of the fucking rights. She is constantly being used and filmed for vlog content, TikTok content, Instagram content, and you can even tell that a lot of the time, a lot of what she's doing is scripted. She's 9 years old doing scripted content with her parents for them to make millions of dollars on YouTube. And now, instead of getting to go to school to like be with her friends who self-admittedly her parents said that she enjoys doing, they're gonna pull her out of school so she can help take care of these other kids and also presumably be around more so she can be in even more videos. Okay, let me take some deep breaths before we get into this, because now we're getting into the main reason that I'm making this video, which is the propaganda piece that they put out a couple of weeks ago. This video, simply titled "Abortion is a 45-minute YouTube video filled with misinformation and anti-choice propaganda. I want to start this part of the video off with 3 things. Number 1, I want to make it clear that I do not condone or endorse anybody going to watch this video. It says right at the beginning of the video that all of the ad revenue will be donated to local pregnancy centers, and we're going to get into those local pregnancy centers that they consider donating to in a minute. But I would just safely say that if you are pro-choice, you do not want any money or any views going to fund these places. The second disclaimer I'm going to give is actually somewhat of a trigger warning, because I do think a lot of what's going to be talked about here, a lot of the misinformation, I think it could be very triggering to a lot of people. So I do want to just say that right away. This is definitely a much heavier topic that we're getting into now. And the third thing I want to say is that before you go any further, if you didn't get it by now, I guess, I'm very pro-choice. I am very pro women can do what they want with their bodies. I 1000% support a woman making a decision that is best for her body. And I am very, 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 very 1000% pro-choice. I do not care about the circumstances. I do not care about the reasoning. I do not care about why a person wants to do what they want to do with their own body. That is quite literally none of my fucking business. And I support women in doing what they feel is best for their bodies. I firmly believe that an abortion is 1000% individual choice. And I do not think that any person should be influencing a person on what to do with their own body in both directions. I think everybody should be given informed information based on actual science and not just our feelings about things, and then make the decision that is best for them based on that science. So that is how I feel going into all of this. That's how I feel going into this video. I personally live in New York State, and I know that I am very lucky and very blessed to live in a place that has really exceptional laws surrounding abortion. I know that not everyone in this country and not everyone in the world has those same rights and those same options. And I know specifically in the United States, which is where the LaBrant family lives, also where I live, right now, we're in a really, really dangerous time. Because in a state level, a lot of states are choosing to make really, really restrictive anti-abortion laws that can send women to jail if they choose to do what they would like with their own body. And on top of that, Roe v. Wade, which was a monumental case in legalizing abortion in all 50 states, is at high risk of being overturned due to the current Supreme Court justices. So for me personally, given how high stakes the issue is right now and how in danger this issue is right now, I take great issue with a channel that has 13 million subscribers that is a fucking family channel posting 45 minutes of misinformation and bullshit, compare abortion rates to the fucking Holocaust, and also point people in the direction of fake abortion clinics that the sole purpose of is to control and manipulate women and bombard women into not being able to make a choice for themselves. These clinics, the one that the LaBrant family is promoting on their YouTube channel and promoting that you should go donate to and go to, these clinics are fucking disgusting. These clinics lure women in under false pretenses and then force, manipulate, and coerce them into not making a choice that is best for them to serve their own self-interests. And here's the thing, I'm sorry, I got off topic there. The thing about this propaganda piece is that it's not surprising coming from the LaBrant family. Like, this isn't a shock that they are anti-choice. That shouldn't really surprise anyone that has been watching their channel. They are very religious people, and while not all religious people are anti-choice, a lot of them are, and it makes sense that for them personally, they would be anti-choice. And the thing about that is I don't care if Savannah LaBrant wants to keep popping out children and never, ever, ever have an her life. I don't care. I literally could care less. Do I care what she does with those children after they're out and the way that she exploits them? Absolutely. Do I care if she has them or not? No, because it's her choice. It's her choice to have those children. I have a lot of problems with this propaganda piece, but the biggest one that I have is the organization that they chose to spotlight, which was called Embrace Grace. Now, Embrace Grace in this video was shown as somewhat of a support network for people who may be pregnant, who aren't sure if they want to terminate or not. It said that it helps single mothers out by giving them baby showers, by giving them a network of young women that are gonna support them and be there for them. It's basically shown as a support group for young women. And you know what I think is really sad actually about this? I was thinking about this the other day. What I think is so sad about this organization in particular is that if they weren't so morally corrupt and fucked up, what a wonderful idea that is. Like, what a wonderful, amazing idea to be able to give women who choose and actively want to carry their pregnancy to full term, what a wonderful thing it would be to provide them with services, to give them food, diapers, have a baby shower for them, uplift them with like group therapy so that they can talk about the struggles of maybe being a single mother, or even if they're not single mothers, like the struggles of being a young mother. How amazing would an organization like that be? That's what they're painting the picture as. They're painting this as this amazing organization, but the problem is they're not. I've actually heard and learned about clinics like this before. They're actually not allowed in New York State. I know they are in other states. I'm pretty sure I could link the article that I read this in, but I believe it was in Georgia. These fake clinics overpopulate the real pregnancy clinic 3-to-1. These pregnancy clinics, which they actually showed in their propaganda piece as like this wonderful, amazing place where you can come and get free services and free ultrasounds, that's not what they are. These fake clinics get away with calling themselves clinics because they have one nurse practitioner there that is able to do things like ultrasounds. That is how they get away with calling themselves a clinic. They are not a clinic. What they are is a place to persuade and manipulate women who are debating getting an abortion into not getting one. These places paint themselves as if they are similar to Planned Parenthood. They basically try to market themselves as if they do offer abortion services, as if they do offer emergency contraception. They don't. They don't offer any of those things. I read a bunch of articles about places like this, of people kind of going inside and having the experience of being in one, and I'll link a couple of them down below if you're interested in reading about them. This actually is a massive problem. Organizations like Embrace Grace are massive problems throughout the US right now because their sole purpose is to be predatory as fuck. But you walk in and there's like a picture of a graveyard behind the front desk that says all of the unborn children that were aborted. You're immediately met with anti-choice propaganda that is not based in fact or science, but is solely based on the religious beliefs of other people. You're not only met with all of this signage, you're also met with an unlicensed volunteer whose sole purpose is not to help you or help you navigate what is the best choice for you. Their sole purpose is to ensure that you don't get an abortion. You feel disgusting if you were to get one. Fill you with false information and false science about what the process of getting one is, how dangerous it is, how immoral it is to do so. These places are just as bad, if not worse, as those people who stand outside of Planned Parenthood with disgusting signs and pictures who harass and scream things at women going in to get services. So right off the bat, the entire thing is discounted when they misrepresented and showed an organization whose sole purpose is to strip the rights and the choice away from women. That's just right off the bat. But what's even worse is the so-called experts they interviewed for this propaganda piece. They had one quack of a fucking doctor who should literally be stripped of his medical license for the absolute bullshit that he was spewing. He tried to come out and say that it was never, under any circumstances, medically necessary for a woman to get an abortion, which is actually a talking point that a lot of anti-choice people spew all the time. And I'm sitting there like, wait, hold on, can we pause for a second? You're trying to sit there and say that there is never a medical reason that a woman would get an abortion. There's never a medically necessary reason to save a woman's life. And he said, no, what we would do is simply deliver the baby. And again, a lot of anti-choice people spew this narrative, but this is not based in any fucking semblance of fact. I actually think that the American College of Obstetrician and Gynecology put it best. I'm gonna do a direct quote here that says, the science of medicine is not subjective, and a strongly held personal belief should never outweigh scientific evidence, override standards of medical care, or drive policy that puts a person's health and life at risk. There are many medical emergencies that can make women who maybe don't even want to end a pregnancy be forced to end a pregnancy because their own life is at danger. One of the biggest reasons that women would need to terminate a pregnancy is, for example, if their water broke early. If your water breaks too early in your pregnancy and your baby is absolutely not ready to come out, infection can set in very quickly, sending you into sepsis and killing you. Another is a placenta eruption or preeclampsia. There are tons of different reasons and circumstances that it absolutely would be medically necessary to terminate a pregnancy in order to save the person who's carrying it life. There are tons of reasons that happens, and to say there are not is a blatant mistruth, is incredibly false, and is also incredibly fucking damaging. Shaming women who choose to save themselves and put their body and themselves first over a pregnancy is not only fucking fucking disgusting. It's also fucking stupid. Frankly, I just have to point this out. The absolute blatant fucking hypocrisy of the LaBrant family sitting there saying that at the moment of fertilization, that embryo has rights. They have rights that are more important than the rights and the wants of the person that is inside of. That embryo has rights. The fact that they're trying to spew that when their own fucking children can't be given the right to basic fucking privacy? Are you kidding me? Their own children don't have a right to not be blasted to 13 million people so you fuckers can profit? Are you kidding me? This couple is the blueprint for how to exploit and use your children and disrespect every fucking basic human right that they could have in order to use them for money and views and clout. And they're gonna sit there and lecture people that that embryo has any fucking rights? Absolutely the fuck not. You're gonna sit there and equate abortion rates to the fucking Holocaust? I genuinely think they've lost their fucking minds. Like, I can't even fathom. I'm sorry, I'm getting way too heated. I really think they've lost their minds. I really think they've lost their, I cannot understand how they could watch that very poorly edited opening scene where they quite literally compared one of the worst genocides known to history and abortion rates and think they were making some type of profound fucking point is beyond me. Personally, I think that instead of the LaBrant family sitting there trying to control what everybody else does with their fucking bodies, maybe they should put a little bit more thought and effort into the children that they already have in this world and how not to exploit them and use them and strip them of their rights to privacy. How about we focus on that for a second, guys, instead of trying to push this fucking propaganda piece to 13 million mostly children, trying to convince them that if they ever medically need an abortion or want to get an abortion for any fucking reason, that they are terrible fucking people. I'm gonna throw up. I think the reason I'm so heated about this, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm just like, what the fuck? I think the reason I'm so heated about this is because the fact that at this point in time currently, especially in the United States, I know there's so much damage happening to women's reproductive rights. We are like genuinely losing our rights every day as far as our right to choose what we want to do with our own bodies. Our government is heavily involved with what women are allowed or not allowed to do with their own bodies. I see Twitter threads every fucking day, articles every fucking day. This woman just got arrested because she took a pill in order to induce an abortion. She's being held on $500,000 bail. Marlene Estelle, who was the owner of Makeup Geek and OG Beauty Guru, lives in Texas and did a very, very somber Twitter thread describing in detail the horrific and traumatizing process she had to go through to terminate a pregnancy that was not viable and was dangerous to her health. We see stories like this every day where women now, there's no right to choose left. Like, our rights to choose are being stripped. And to see this famous family with all of this influence who have done nothing but exploit their children to get there, posting this documentary and showing all of this fake bullshit and painting it as if these resources are to help women. These doctors are here to help you and explain things to you. When it's like a quack of a doctor who probably got his medical degree from WebMD and a fucking predatory ass company that's literal sole purpose is to control and manipulate women. Fuck no. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna stay silent about this, and I don't think other people should too. Even if you personally would never get an abortion and you never want to even think about getting one and you would never do that, that's totally fine because it's your choice. But other people also deserve to have that choice. Man, maybe I should have filmed like this 4 times. I don't think, you know what though? I don't think if I film this again, I would be more calm. I really wouldn't. There's a lot of things on the internet that like don't genuinely upset me. I can just kind of talk about an unbiased, neutral stance. This is not one of those things. This family has been fucked and they continue to be fucked. And personally, if this doesn't do like a major hit to their career, I don't really know what else is gonna do it. If it's not the anti-choice propaganda, it should probably be the fact that they clickbaited their kid having fucking cancer for you. If it's not that, it should probably be they're pulling their 9-year-old out of school so she can be in more video content and take care of her younger brothers and sisters. Anyway, I'm interested to know your guys' thoughts on this video. I'm 90% sure that like 90% of the comments are gonna agree with me, and then there's gonna be 10% calling me an evil Satanist, and honestly, Okay, I love you guys so much. Make sure you like and subscribe to this video. My social justice spotlight for the rest of this month and next month are going to be focused on actual services who either want to choose or not choose to have a baby. And on the top of those links is going to be Planned Parenthood, who despite anti-choice propaganda's sole purpose is not to just give women abortions and force them to have abortions, but actually provides life-saving medical service for women who need it. They are in dire risk, especially in a lot of different states here in the United States. They are in dire risk of being closed down and people not being able to have access to their life-saving services. So if you are able to do monthly donations to them, I would strongly recommend it, even if it's just like $10. They're one of the organizations that I have always consistently donated to monthly. I think they're amazing. They do wonderful work. They aren't predatory as fucking terrible. So yeah, anyway, that's gonna be it for me. Hope you guys like this video. If you did, like and subscribe. If not, I don't care. I'm drained. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
What?